talked with me about the show and shown me music from it for 5 years now, including before my mission. And so we're very excited to bring it to you tonight. Really glad to be here with a pretty amazingly talented cast, and we're so grateful that you were able to make it. You've got a program. There's a little notes page in it. Chris has told me that if you have any questions about that, please ask him about it. It's a really cool show and a great concept, and we're excited to kind of get it its first showing in the whole world. So welcome. Spencer Hunsinger is going to give us an opening prayer, and then we're going to start.
Dear Father in heaven, we are grateful to Thee for this opportunity to give this piece of work an exhibition. Please bless us that our hearts and the hearts of the audience may be open, that we may communicate with each other. And we thank Thee for this opportunity and for the great material we've been given, and for Chris. And we love Thee, Lord, and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
So please, we're going to have a little bit of talk back after. So after we're finished, we'd love to have some of your feedback on the project, as this is a kind of continuing and improving work. And if we give the actors, one of them, a round of applause before it starts.
The Minstrel Boys, a new musical by Chris Perrys. Act 1. A minstrel theater, August 8, 1863. A small stage is empty with a single spotlight on downstage center. Christian Fleetwood, a young black man in his 20s, walks into the light and stands alone. He is in minstrel performing clothing and is holding a tattered hat in his hands. A white man sitting on a stool, stage left, starts playing a guitar he is holding.
Thy songs were made for the pure and free. They shall never sound in slavery.
Christian exits the stage. He then reappears with Sam Hay, a white, lower-middle-class man dressed in minstrel clothing. His black-face makeup has been taken off, but smudges of the charcoal and oil can still be seen scattered on his face.
You killed it, old boy. Absolutely killed it. The audience loved you.
Well, thank you, Sammy. I sure enjoyed performing with you a lot. You've done a real nice thing letting me come along and sing with you as long as you have.
Well, the tour ain't over yet, Christian. We still got Nashville, Savannah, and Memphis to go yet. The rest of the South awaits.
That's the thing, Sammy. I've been meaning to tell you. This is my last show. I gotta head home.
Is that so? Why is that? We can't afford much, but we could pay you a little more to send Sarah at home.
Oh, heavens no. You paid more than fair wages.
Too much time away from your wife, then? I know that she is with child and all. What if we did more tours up north by Baltimore?
I'm sorry, I just can't be performing anymore.
Christian Fleetwood, you tell me this minute what is bothering you and why you are leaving this troupe. Sam Hague's slave troupe of Georgia minstrels ain't nothing without you in it. We're a brotherhood, you know that.
You know, I was born free. My mother and my father escaped slavery when my mother was pregnant with me, and I had a relatively privileged life. I never actually seen slavery, at least not until I came to tour with you all.
Christian, I had no idea.
You're not at fault, Sam. You've given these other colored folks a chance at something great. To perform is better than plow. I would say it's even better than working as a publisher.
Agreed. What does this all have to do with you leaving?
When we were walking to the theater yesterday, I saw a young child, no older than 5 years old, out in the fields working. He was carrying some cotton when he tripped and drops half of his cargo. They beat him, Sam. Right there in front of us, with no scruples and no remorse. They whipped him until he lay whimpering in the dirt. But what did I do? I walked on by. I came in and dressed like a fool and sang silly songs when he bled and cried. He could have been my child. So I decided then and there that I couldn't do it anymore. There's a colored infantry leaving from Baltimore in 2 weeks. I'll be leaving with them.
What about Sarah?
I don't know. But this is more important than mine or her happiness.
Will she understand?
I hope so.
Well, I understand, Christian. I really, truly understand. But I'm not going to let you go unarmed.
Hey, no, you don't have to worry about that, old Sammy. The government's going to be outfitting me with all the necessities.
No, I'm not talking about those brutal instruments of war. I'm talking about your instrument of war.
He hands him the guitar.
I want you to have this. And bring some hope to those you fight with. Bring them some beauty.
Christian looks at it for a moment and then grabs it.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for everything.
Now don't you go making me all blurry-eyed. You're doing a good thing, Christian. A great thing. Just remember why you fight. Don't you fight for revenge or anger or any of that nonsense. You be a soldier out there for love. Love of your wife, your unborn child, your brothers and sisters, and love of this country we call home.
I couldn't ask for better counsel. God be with you.
And you too.
They embrace, and the lights fade to black. The lights are brought back up to reveal Elbert Hubbard Sr. speaking with his son, Elbert Hubbard II. Elbert Hubbard Sr. is dressed in decidedly higher class clothing. He wears a hat and uses a cane. He walks slowly, but deliberately. His son, Elbert Hubbard II, is indicatively a loose cannon. He seems somewhat uncomfortable in his higher class clothing. They are walking down the street with luggage and become so engaged in the story that they stop.
I can't bear it anymore. Tell me, Father, did the president pardon it?
I told you, Bert. I can't tell you until I tell your mother.
Now, please! It'll be our little secret.
You promise?
Of course.
Fine. So I showed up here at the White House and I told the secretary, I'm here to see the president.
You did not.
I did. And she said, and who are you? Who, sir, are you? He's in the middle of a very important engagement right now. And I told her that I was the Elbert Hubbard and that I had to speak with him at once.
Father, you brute!
So I walked in there and sat the man himself, President Woodrow Wilson. But that's more. The Secretary of the State, William Jennings Bryan, and the Attorney General, Thomas Gregory, as well.
Well, that was a happy chance indeed.
Indeed it was, boy. So I stated my case, and on the morrow I had a brand new passport in my hand. You're looking at Elbert Hubbard, the newest United States citizen, for the second time, no less.
That is fantastic news. So you'll be leaving at the end of the summer like you planned?
I will do you one better, dear boy. I leave in 1 month's time. Your mother and I will be sailing to Europe, and from there on to speak with Kaiser Wilhelm. This is my chance, son, to actually do something great in this world, to write something that could make a difference. Bert, you do not seem enthused.
I am sorry, Father, I am. I truly am excited for you. But I was also so excited for this summer.
Indeed. Your apprenticeship with me. In all this excitement, I momentarily forgotten this. This does put us in a difficult predicament. But wait, it hardly does. Son, what do you want to do? What have you always wanted to do?
Well, right, Father, like you.
And what's stopping you? See here, I know there are so many things that I will be able to teach. The world of publishing is a complicated place, and you will certainly need my help to navigate it. But as for writing, this could be your chance to start.
But what will I write about?
In the distance, we hear a voice.
A fine musical instrument, $25. I was basically giving it away, $25. Guitar, steel strings, $25.
Do you hear that? I believe the muse is speaking to us.
They pick up their luggage and head to the opposite side of the stage where Charles appears with an old guitar.
Young man, I'm guessing that you are not having a terrible amount of luck. Would that be correct? Not surprising. You see, your problem is this. You are attempting to sell a beautiful $35 instrument at a discounted price of $25, which is a bargain by any standard. But you, my young friend, are trying to sell it in a neighborhood where if any one of these passerbys had a mere $25 to spend, they simply would not be living in this very location. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir?
I knew you were a sharp young man. Hence why you have absolutely no cause whatsoever to stare so vacantly into the dirt. You won't find any man's soul, any man's heart down there. Oh, pardon my manners. What is your name?
Charles, sir.
That, Charles, my boy, can only be found in a man's eyes. And quit with all that sir nonsense. We are in the 20th century. You have every right to see my soul, and I have every right to see yours. You see, that's much better, my young friend Charles. What a sparkling disposition you have. My name is Elbert Hubbard, and this is my son Bert.
They extend their hands, which Charles cautiously takes.
Now, if you wouldn't mind me asking, how ever did you come into possession of so majestic an instrument? And even more pressing a question, why would you be selling it?
My granddad gave it to me. He used to be one of them traveling minstrel types, and when he went to fight in the war for the Union, they done gave him this here guitar. Well, you see, sir, you see, I was trying to start up a family of my own, but monies are real hard to come by, so my grandmama done gave me this old guitar to help out. I was trying to buy some land, to start a farm, be a good, hard-working man.
A nobler cause I would be hard-pressed to find. Although it goes against my own resistance to remove any man from the arts, and would thus be doing so in buying this fine instrument from you. I find your reasons just as admirable. But I am sorry. I just cannot pay $25 for such an instrument.
I see, sir. Well, since you've been so kind to me and all, I could give it to you for $20. But I just can't go no lower. I won't be able to buy no land.
You drive a hard bargain, Charles. You will be a successful businessman yet. But I am sorry, I cannot accept your offer. I will pay you $70 for that guitar of yours, and I will pay not a penny less.
But sir,
That's the end of the matter. And what did I say about calling me sir?
Albert slaps him on the back jovially.
Here you are. You should find that it is all in order.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Charles. You have been this here boy's saving grace. Well, we must be off. I have a trip to pack for. I'm off to Europe on a great old ship. Should be an adventure. Anyhow, see you around, Charles.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Charles. The best of luck to you and your family.
They begin to walk off and nearly exit.
Albert, one more question.
What's that, my friend?
What's the name of the boat that you're leaving on? I'll come see you off.
That would be splendid. It would happen to be no less than the largest ship in the world, the RMS Lusitania.
The stage clears, and as the last passerby exits stage left, the lights darken. A group of soldiers enter the stage, with flashlights sweeping the room as if it were enemy territory. There are 4 chairs or beds that have been against the upstage back wall the entire time. One of the soldiers, Gazzetti, seems obviously distracted and is not nearly as engaged as the rest of the battalion. He nonchalantly walks around the room with his gun at his side. He walks over to the chairs and finds a guitar case. The other soldiers are too distracted to notice. One of the soldiers returns to the entrance and shouts out,
Sir, it's all clear.
We see a highly decorated soldier, a general, walk into the room. He's an older man with salt and pepper hair. He has an incredibly strong presence, and all soldiers stand at attention as he enters, including John Gazzetti.
First Lieutenant Marsh, what's the report?
Sir, it seems that this is an American barracks.
Well, that's not possible. The nearest outpost is 50 miles out. Why on all of God's green earth would you believe that idiotic assumption, First Lieutenant Marsh?
The flag, sir. And the other private effects. They're all in English, sir, and there are American uniforms. They seem abandoned, sir.
Very well. Stand down, men. It seems we've stumbled on an old outpost from the Great War. Private Gazzetti, what's our 20?
Gazzetti fumbles around, putting down the guitar and pulls out a map.
43 degrees, 44 north, 7 degrees, 25 east.
7 degrees, 25 east. What?
Lange, France.
25 east, sir. It's really not that difficult to remember, you wop.
There's a silence where Gazzetti is not quite sure what to do. The general, seeing his hesitancy, walks over to Gazzetti and gets in his face.
Do you know why you are to call me sir, you Italian greaseball?
No, sir.
Because I volunteered to fight for my country in the last Great War. I volunteered to defend what was rightfully mine. I've seen war, I've beaten war. I've been beaten by war, and I've seen 100 soldiers just like you, just coming to get a free ticket for you and your family. Well, son, freedom isn't a gift. It must be won. And you disgust me. Get out of my sight. That's an order, Private.
Gazzetti gets up, struggling to gather the map, and begins to go, and the general stops him.
And take that trash with you.
The general says this, referring to the guitar.
Now, we'll be setting up camp here for the next few weeks, boys, so pick a bed and set up camp. First Lieutenant Marsh, I'm giving you charge over Private Gazzetti. He can't sleep inside once it gets dark. But just make sure that I don't have to deal with him. That's an order, soldier.
The soldiers take off their uniforms and are now dressed as college students. A beautiful girl, Taylor, enters the stage and stands in their midst. Thomas Bennett enters from the opposite side of the stage and addresses them. He is incredibly handsome, charismatic, and has one of those dispositions that makes you trust him and want to be around him as soon as you meet him.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for coming out to this week's meeting of Students Against War. Remember to invite all of your friends next week. But don't forget that we'll be meeting at 7:30 instead of 8:30 because of the football game. We'll see you then.
Thomas finishes speaking, and the crowd begins to mill around and gradually filter out of the room. He approaches Taylor.
Well, looks like we got a new face this week, and you are...
Taylor Quinn.
Taylor Quinn. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm actually usually really terrible with names, but I should have no problem remembering yours. Have you ever heard of James Taylor and the Flying Machine?
Wait, how do you know about James Taylor and the Flying Machine?
I got this buddy up in New York that works for J.G. Records, and whenever he has something I should check out, he sends it my way.
You're not talking about Corey Parrish from Charleston, are you?
That's him?
I'm from Charleston. We went to high school together.
Whoa, small world. We met at a summer Bible camp once. Super guy.
Awesome. Have you heard, though? He actually just got drafted. My mom told me this week.
Oh, no, really? I hope he's doing all right out there.
Yeah, he didn't have the money to go to college after high school, so he was just working in a machine shop downtown. No student deferment equals draft eligible. They plucked him just 3 months after his 18th birthday.
Oh, rotten luck. And looks like I might be in the same boat soon.
How? You're quite obviously a student.
For now, at least. But I haven't been doing so hot in classes the past couple semesters. I just don't think I was designed for school, you know? Anyhow, I've looked it up, and as soon as you flunk out of school, and you get dropped right back into the draft.
Well, there's always Canada, right?
Yeah. But I could never do that. My dad is a big war hero. My best pal from grade school is out there right now. So it looks like I'm either going to bite the bullet and enlist or register as a conscientious objector. But I don't really like either of those options.
Wouldn't that be a sight? The president of the Students Against War Club enlisting.
Who would have thought? It just comes down to the fact that I think this whole situation is messed up. I still love this country. Hate the sin, not the sinner. That's what my dad taught me.
I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. He must be a smart fella.
Yeah, you could say that. Anyhow, I gotta skedaddle. I just got another meeting to get to, trying to get in all the clubs I can before they kick me out of here. Before I go, though, would you like to go to dinner sometime?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, just kind of got out of a relationship.
Oh, playing hard to get, eh? All right, I'll sweeten the deal. You come to one dinner with me. I'll play for you live a James Taylor and the Flying Machine song. What do you say?
You play the guitar?
Nope. I don't even know one. But I'm heading to New York this weekend with my folks for a little vacation. I'm sure I can find a pawn shop around there or something.
You're crazy.
But is it a deal?
You're gonna learn how to play the guitar just to take me on a date.
Is it a deal?
Okay, fine. You play me a song, I'll go on a date with you.
Great. Gotta run. Nice to meet you, Taylor Quinn. I'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.
The lights go to black, and everyone exits the stage. When the lights come back up, the 4 soldiers are on their beds upstage against the back wall. Each soldier has his own distinct space, which looks appropriate for the period. Each soldier has a guitar. It is the same guitar, but just slightly aged for each progressive war. They are all in their own world, oblivious to their other soldiers and time periods, and are tinkering with letters, guns, and guitars to pass the time. As they tinker, one of the soldiers finds a little riff that he starts repeating.
March the 1st, 1916, Francis Holt, I need a drink. Almost a year since they killed my dream. This place is hell, I'm on the brink.
So this is it. This is Vietnam. This is why we're at war. To burn this jungle with our bombs and never knowing what it's for.
So I
You a letter I write
to feel better, I rise.
so I can sleep tonight. I write.
1864, it's almost fall, and I am far away from home. In this place, there is no song. My wife and my son are all alone.
I am no hero, not in this place. This isn't what I'd hoped to be. They cannot get past my race, but forward march to Italy.
So I ride
You back home, I ride.
'cause I'm alone. I ride
And hope that you are proud of me. I ride.
'Cause it's all that I got.
Besides the fight,
Since this is my lot,
I will.
I will ride. Although I'm far away,
I will rise.
The lights go up. The lights stay up, and each soldier continues with his work. Christian picks up a pen and letter. He dictates the letter to himself as he begins writing.
My dear Sarah, the chances to write you are not very frequent, so it is in these brief respites that I will attempt to scribe a few lines. First and foremost, I write you so that you may know that I am numbered among the living. I wish I had the time to write you particulars of the trip thus far, but I'd rather use scarce time to express the feelings of my heart.
At this point, Sarah Iredell walks onto stage, pregnant. She is busily doing housework. Christian continues speaking, but slowly stops writing. He begins watching Sarah, immersing himself in the memory.
I think of you oft, my love. Not a day or minute passes that you do not occupy my thoughts. I so very much long to hold you in my embrace. In the quiet hours before the sun rises, I find time to think of our beautiful child who will shortly be arriving. I feel the Lord gives me these special moments of the morning breaking into new life of day to cause me to reflect on the blessings of my own life that I have come into. Sweet Sarah, this cause is worthy of my sacrifice. I know that you feel that.
This is not your battle to fight. You have no part in this quarrel. I would understand if you were a single man looking for adventure, but Christian, you are no such man. Your wife is with child. This is no time to go on crusades. This is your most important crusade.
I know, but why should I be the one to receive all these wonderful gifts in my life? What have I done to deserve all this? I was born free, in free states, and to free parents, and I was allowed to only find you, but to also marry you. Is it not my duty to ensure these rights for others?
No! Christian, no one, including myself, can fault you for your intentions. But do you feel that God really requires that much of payment? Let those that are directly affected by the matter fight for their cause.
How could you possibly say that I am directly not affected by this? I could just as easily have been dead on plantations with nothing at this very moment.
But you're not there. You're here. Shouldn't we care for those things that we are given instead of throwing them to the wind?
I'm not throwing you to the wind. You will be cared for by the wife of my professor from university. He is also keen to this cause and will be enlisting shortly. If I do not fight for this, who will?
You know as well as I do that this war is not about only freedom. This war is about money and politics, and you have no part in that.
Sarah, you simply cannot understand.
Oh, is that because of the color of my skin? You're just as bad as they are.
I am not of the sort. I can hear the bugles now, calling out for troops, calling me to action, but taking me from you. This roof, this food, this family, blessings untold. While my brothers are suffering and dying, and sisters being sold. So why should I stay? While sons, daughters, mothers, fathers are living as slaves, so I'll fight. 'Cause my God gave me a new life with a wife and a baby and the boys in the South. They deserve to have this too, and I'd never choose to go, but it's my debt to God that takes me from you. promise to write every day. I promise to thank God for you every night when I pray. Now it's time to say goodbye. Grab the hat and the gun, softly kiss my wife.
One last embrace from your son, and we cry, 'cause my God gave us a new life and a home out of the dust.
This doesn't mean my love has ceased to stay true.
I don't doubt, but I'm afraid.
When it's a doubt to God that takes me from you. All my love, your husband, Christian.
Elbert Hubbard II sits on his bed. He slows and reaches for a pen and paper. He dictates as he writes.
January 14th, 1916. Things have been getting better, but sometimes I just really need a drink, you know? I'm writing that for you, Doc. Could you put in a good word with me? Anyhow, last time we met, you told me that one of my journal entries I needed to confront my anger and where it came from. I think you and I both know that it's fairly obvious, but for the sake of the process, I'll heed. My father was a good man, a great man even. He taught me everything I know about kindness, ambition, and what it means to be a man. I wanted to be like him in every way. I had plans to write, publish, and take over my family business. He even bought me my guitar to push me in the right direction. But all that was taken from me. Since he's been gone, I haven't been able to write a single sentence other than this idiotic journal. And that's why I turned to the drink. Maybe I thought it could open my mind back up, get me where I wanted my father to take me, but instead of feeding my pen, it fed my pain. And I just got more and more angry, and I was getting fights constantly, and that's how I got here. The general saw me in a street brawl and convinced me to channel my aggression into the war effort, but, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Sorry, Doc. It's a simple question. Why am I mad? It's a simple answer, too. Because they took my father. I can still see him standing there on the dock in his freshly pressed brand new suit with my mother. He must have known something was coming because he became emotional. More so than usual.
Elbert enters in the memory of his father saying goodbye. He is standing in the scene but not participating. His father is acting out everything described, but do it to him instead.
May 11915, when we said our goodbyes, he looked me in the eyes and said I've got to clear my chest, so I will try my best to express how you have made me proud. Then he began to weep as we embraced cheek to cheek. He said, you always reap what you sow. And he planted inside of me himself within a seed. The name of the family tree was left with me. And Elbert Hubbard will avenge you. Elbert fear that to this name I will bring the family shame, and the fame that you have won will be scarred. I'm no poet and no author, no romantic philosopher, so now I will prefer to fight. My sword will be my pen, writing chapters on the men, the ones who decided to send you to the grave. I'll take for Mom and Dad, Lady Liberty and Uncle Sam, and I will load my hands with death. My sword, Hubbard will avenge you. Albert Hubbard will avenge. Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep breaths. Sorry, Doc. I lost control there for a second. I want to be here. I really do. I want to help in any way I can, but like you say, I just have to remember I'm here to serve, not to get revenge, and I know that's why I'm here. I just have to keep reminding myself.
As he finishes, Elbert slowly backs into his bed and picks up his guitar and starts playing. His playing syncs up with Gazzetti's, and they play harmoniously for a few moments. At this point, the other soldiers from Gazzetti's brigade walk in quite jovially, very amiable with one another. The other soldiers from the other time periods are completely oblivious to what is going on.
Gazzetti, quit that racket.
The rebuke is especially biting because they are being so loud and obnoxious that you can barely hear the guitar. Their chatter continues about random things about home.
What about you, Stu? You got a little hussy waiting for you back home?
No, sir. Although there was this cute little vixen I had a fling with a couple months ago before I left. I figure if she's still interested in another pass once I get back home.
Nah, Stu. You got it all wrong, man. You see, the ladies, they're always going to be there. You could be 80 years old and there will still be beautiful women just dying to get a piece of your war hero pie. Me, when I get back, I'm taking advantage of my youth while I've got it. What's left of it anyhow? I've already got it in all set up with my pal Troy from Jersey. We're gonna train real hard and try to make it to the major leagues. You know, play some professional ball. One day, just one day, with a Yankees jersey on your back, and you won't be able to keep them broads off you. Even with one of them big old wooden bats.
Marsh is extremely charismatic in the company of the other soldiers, and they all interject commentary throughout. He turns his attention to Gazzetti.
What about you, you worthless wop? You ever write home to anyone other than your dear old mom and dad?
No, sir.
Of course you don't. But really, tell me, Gazzetti, what are you going to do when you get back? Okay, fine. You want me to play the guessing game? Let's see, you gonna be a boxer? No. All right then, you're gonna own a pizzeria? Make some spaghetti, a spicy meatball, sausage.
I'm going to play ball too, as a matter of fact.
You gotta be kidding me. This kid. Let me guess, you want to be an All-American, eh? You want to be a good old boy from the street states? Well, I got some news for you, you greaseball. You ain't never going to be one of them. One of us.
The next line is given in unison with Gazzetti's father, Dante, as he walks on stage with suitcases. He begins softly, but gradually becomes more clear as he arrives on stage. He does not recognize the presence of the other soldiers, and Gazzetti is caught off guard by the fact that Marsh is unknowingly quoting his father. Dante speaks with a thick Italian accent and comes from the opposite side of the stage. Then where the soldiers came from.
I don't care where you were born. You're an Italian with Italian blood, and that's just a fact.
Marsh finishes this last sentence and leaves with the rest of the soldiers, leaving just Gazzetti and this memory of his father.
Son, this is wrong what they are doing to us and to the poor people of Japan. Forcing us to go to prison just because I was born somewhere else? It's absurdo.
Dad, we're not going to prison. They're calling them internment camps. We'll go to live normal lives. We'll all just be living together on a military base.
Johnny, I think with your head. Being fenced in like a caged animal is not a normal life.
Well, regardless, we're not going to have to worry about it much longer.
This war will not be over anytime soon.
I don't mean it like that. Well, there's this program. If one of the members of a family in the camp is willing to enlist, they let the rest of the family go home.
And so what?
I'm going to sign up.
Don't be silly, boy.
I have an appointment this afternoon.
Giving your mom and I a little more freedom is not worth you going to our home and shooting at our people. I don't care what the incentive.
It's not my home. It's not my people. And to be completely honest, you guys getting to go home is really just a bonus. Dad, I've been planning on enlisting for a long time now. This is my home. I love where you and Mom are from, and I love my heritage, but I also love that I was born here. I love that I'm an American, and I'm willing to go and fight for that.
I cannot give you my approval for this.
That's fine. I don't need it. I talked to the recruiting officer, and he said I was old enough to go with or without permission. So I'm going. And you get to go home regardless. Come on, Dad. It's not that bad. This is my chance. You want me to stand up and be a man? Well, maybe this is the price. I wasn't born on distant shores, but I love where I'm from. I love you and the red, white, and blue, and that's why I'll fight. And I know you'll say that I've lost my way, but the choice is mine to take. So fly away to find glory.
Kind. You may as well be killing yourself.
Uncle Sam, here I am. Take me and make me. Strengthen my hand into a man, into an all-American. I'm Johnny G. I was born free. I'm here to help our boys. I'll sign on the line. I'll do my time. My parents can go home again. Now I'm ready to show that I'm no longer a boy, but on the battlefield, you'll find me in glory, yeah,
As Gazzetti finishes, we see Thomas begin scrounging around for a pen and some paper. After Gazzetti concludes his song, Thomas is singing a hymn to himself as he gathers his things to write a letter.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Dear Tay, thank you so much for the package. The tape recorder was an awesome idea. I'll be sure to record something for you pronto and send it to you soon. Luckily, we haven't seen too much action, which is why I've got time to write to you right now. You know, when you start adding up figures and taking percentages and stuff over here, there are very few places that I can be safer than with the U.S. Army. But even if the worst does happen, I feel that they can't hurt me in any way. I have had and am having such a rich, full, good, exciting life that, well, nobody can take that away from me. There's very little chance that anything's going to happen. And if it does, so what? I've had my 21 good years, right? But we'll cross that bridge if we get to it, right? So, in other news, I've gotten to play my guitar the last couple of days. They worked out the system that whenever we set up camp, they'll send it with the next chopper that brings our rations. I leave it when we leave, and they grab it when they stop at that camp. It's worked out pretty well so far. Anyhow, I just wanted to tell you how much you keep me going out here. Whenever we're stuck in the swamp, or climbing a steep ridge, or crawling through dangerous territory, I just think of you. I think of you sitting at the table with my mom and dad over Christmas. You had that ridiculous Christmas sweater on that my mom had gotten you.
As Thomas describes the scene, the characters walk from offstage and begin to set the scene he's describing.
Weren't you the one that started chanting, speech, 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 speech?
Speech, 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 speech!
All right, all right, all right. Everyone just calm down. I didn't get any award or anything.
Tommy, you just
Yeah.
look so handsome in your uniform.
Thanks, Mom. A little odd attire for Christmas dinner, but you don't really question a mother's request before her son goes halfway across the world, now do you?
He walks over and gives his mom a kiss.
Thank you all for being so supportive of me. This has been a hard line to walk between my love of God and other men, and my duty to my country. I'm truly happy that I've been able to find a balance between the two. If I can say nothing else before I leave, it's this. Stay in school. If it weren't for my dadgum grades, I wouldn't be going anywhere, but here we are, and here I go. Cheers, everyone, and Merry Christmas.
Cheers. All right, bud, I think your mother and I are all tuckered out. You two don't get into too much trouble, you hear?
You have a good night, son. Love you.
Love you too, Mom. Night, Pa.
You know, you really are leaving a great thing here. They love you more than life itself.
It's true. My hands are tied.
Well, if they're tied, then you're the one who tied the rope. You don't have to do this. You can still change your status. Sure, it may only buy you a few more months, but that's worth something to me.
Tay, we talked about this. The decision has been made. This is the lot that I've picked.
But it doesn't have to be.
You don't worry about me. You just worry about not getting married while I'm gone. Just going on a little tropical vacation.
I am going to worry about you. I'm sorry, Tom, but this is no tropical vacation. This is war. And this is a war we shouldn't even be in. There will be death and horror and sickness and bombs, and people will want to kill you. You're going to have to fight to stay alive, and it's terrifying me.
You don't think I know that? I'm terrified too. I try to put on a good face for Mom and Dad, but that's all it is, a face. I am scared out of my mind, Tay. I'm too young to die. I want to have a family. I want to make you my bride and grow old with you. Make a difference in this world. I can't do that if I'm buried in some shallow grave. I'm not ready for war. Look at me, I'm a mess. Did you see a soldier?
I see a man who sees with his heart, who puts others' needs above his own.
was love in her eyes. Afraid to lose what I'm scared to give. She is beautiful with her braids inside, but don't you dare forget to live. 'Cause this journey I take it alone. Be strong for me, so no more tears. My future is sure, my destiny knows. 'Cause God is the one who steers. Oh,
Are you sure this is what you want?
No, I'm sure this is what I need.
Oh, you know you don't have to leave.
This is who I was meant to be. Oh,
I love you, Tom.
I love you, Tay.
Sarah, send my love to Charles.
Dad, I miss you terribly.
And Dad, pray for me.
All
My
my
love.
love. Tom.
Christian.
Albert,